Speaking of journaling, it's been a pretty big part of your life. That's what I wanted to talk about tonight. People are being encouraged to pursue it as a therapeutic device, an anti-stressor,
Right.
an emotional growth outlet. Like you can grow emotionally if you like start finding your words instead of finding your grunts and finding your, and yelling at people. You find your words by writing it out. And I just wanted to weigh in on the subject a little bit as Christians, as women who've used journaling. The Lord is the one who did it. He nudged me to start turning it into letters to Him. And I immediately began to make progress in my life. I immediately started becoming more emotionally deep. I immediately started having a shift. I always did better when I look back over all my journals through my young adult years. I did better when I was journaling. I did better in life. I was happier. I was more fulfilled.
Yeah.
I seemed to be a little more confident. I heard from the Lord a lot more frequently. At that age, the Lord fills you with a lot of promises for your life because you're just starting in life. So He gives you a lot of, I'm going to do this with you, and I'm going to do this with you, and it's not going to be this way, and it's going to be this way. And so my journals around that time period are filled with a lot of promises.
Yeah.
Also, when I was 17, which is when I think I began to journal, He gave me a lot. I had a lot of visions and a lot of dreams I was getting from the Lord, especially visions.
Yeah.
I think it was probably the first time the Lord took me through some real therapy right there at about that age where it started out like 15 minutes a day. And then it quickly developed into like 2 hours a day because it takes a while to get some of these thoughts down.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Journaling has been one of like my most faithful companions. It's a way I talk to the Lord, and it's a way that He talks back to me. It does all of those things that they, recommend it for. It helps clear out my thoughts. It gets things down on paper. It helps you see everything too, like, from top to bottom instead of just like having a bunch of jumbly thoughts in your head. So it does all of that. And it also, I think for me though, specifically, it helps slows me down, right? Because your thoughts and your words travel a lot faster than what your pen can write. Yeah. Another really important thing that it's done is that the Lord takes you on a journey over the course of time and will reveal little things to you here and there throughout the course of like weeks and months.
It's kind of like making resolve in your heart. You're able to
Yes.
resolve things.
Yeah.
And it's like a decision-making tool also, it sounds like, where you just at the end, you're able to say, I have concluded this.
Yeah.
And therefore, I will be charting this path in my life.
I can go back and be like, no, this happened and this happened and this happened and then this is where I came. Okay, I can stand on that.
You get to watch your growth. And
yeah, that too.
Yeah.
That's really helpful, especially as you go read journals years past and you're at a different maturity level from where you were back then. And it gives me more grace for myself because I'm like, well, you made the best decision you could in the circumstances that you were in or in what you knew.
Right.
And that's super helpful in growing and maturing.
It helps you not forget things too.
Oh my goodness.
And you get to go back and
yeah.
And you go, oh yeah, I was there, or I did think that.
Yeah.
And look how far I've come. And time has such a way of eroding our memory. And the enemy is such an accuser, and he twists things so easily.
Yeah.
A written witness. You are your own witness
Yeah.
of what you've been through and what he said and who you've been. And
Right.
my journaling really began to take an upturn and a different swing. Some of the stuff that he walked me through, I remember at that time he revealed to me that I had some unforgiveness in my heart towards several people. And some of them were not just my perceived injustices.
Right.
They really had committed some injustice against me. And the Lord was like, it's really hindering you and you need to let it go. And I remember it's just part of my story. I dropped 30 pounds in a month and a half after I had that conversation where I forgave. And I didn't change my diet. I didn't change activity at all. Nothing changed in any other way except that the Lord had me. I was just spending time with him, falling in love with him.
Yeah.
And I forgave some people. My body had a response to forgiveness, and it had a response to intimacy with the Lord, and fleshing out some of this stuff. Like he was taking me through some therapeutic things. I didn't have any at that time. I don't think I had any trauma to work through, but just stuff that I had never accepted, addressed, feelings I hadn't acknowledged. Right. And just kind of the first steps towards really learning myself, just writing my journal out, because I've heard a lot of women say that, well, that's what you need to do to eliminate stress and stuff.
Right.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
What I have to do is direct that towards the Lord.
Yeah.
And commune with him. Also, not just writing a prayer. I've seen women do that too. I've seen people who did that. They just wrote out letters to the Lord. That's my letter for the Lord. I'm like, well, what did he say?
What did he say back?
What did he say?
What did he have to say about it?
You got journals filled with letters to the, what did he say?
Right.
And it's got to be stuff that he impresses on you. He's, where's the rest of the conversation?
Right.
Because he's very faithful. And so, it takes more than just
the act of journaling.
Yes. Even in the name of the Lord. It can also give the Lord an opportunity when you look back over them, like years later. It can give him an opportunity to really affirm you and say, look how beautiful you were. Look at your heart. You have a record of your heart, your heart journey, not just your life journey. There is a part of it, you've made a great point, though, that becomes confession.
Yeah.
It's a confession.
Yeah.
So if you're not prepared to confess your sin,
right,
or confess your flaws, your weaknesses, your strengths, your hopes, your dreams, even sometimes just some people, they are afraid to open up. They're like, I don't really want to open my heart. I don't want to.
Then they'll have to deal with whatever is in their heart.
What if I start bawling and can't stop? What if what happens if I start confessing these things?
Right.
Right. It becomes a written confession of your thoughts and feelings. David's songs were his journal entries, where he starts out really mad. Fry them like snails on the sidewalk, Lord. All right. He's like,
strike him down.
Strike him down. They made him mad. They were attacking him and harassing him, coming at him, threatening him. And he's just like, kill them. They're your enemies. Your enemies are my enemies. And then halfway through, so many Psalms, halfway through, he's just like, but you're so good. I encouraged myself in the Lord. He sounds like he's got emotional problems, but all he was doing.
Same. That's what my journals sound like.
Halfway
such a roller coaster.
Huge heart change. Yeah. They sound like they have some sort of mental illness. Like, whoa, some real emotional highs, real emotional lows in one journal entry. But it's really the Lord working on your heart. You make this confession, you get vulnerable. You become incredibly naked before the Lord, and you say, well, here I am, and I can't hide from it, and I can't change it, and I'm embarrassed by what I'm seeing come out of me. I can't believe but I do think that, and then you just lay yourself bare in front of him and say, here I am. It prevents you from acting out. It can be a really great deterrent because you've already addressed what's going on in your heart. You keep your heart weeded of those things. And so then you're not as likely to act out of impatience, act out of frustration. Thanks for talking to me about journaling, Meg.
Club journaling.
Club journaling. Yay! All right.
I'm going to go journal about this podcast now.
It's time to go journal.